Hello, and welcome to episode 18 of the Kennel NRL Podcast. So a bit of a change for this week due to some scheduling issues. We were scheduled to have Paul Langmack on, but we're going to have Big Man on in the next couple of weeks, or anyway, we'll keep you posted. But back to the podcast. Dibbo, thank you for joining us today.
Always a pleasure. Looking forward to today's podcast to discuss a few things and obviously the fallout from State of Origin.
Plus, big fallout from State of Origin. But look, while we mentioned State of Origin, I have to say I've been getting absolutely roasted online about my Game 2 prediction. So I said it was going to be 28-18 to the Blues. Obviously, that didn't happen. It was, 32-6 or something like that. The Blues got absolutely towed up. And look, keep it coming as long as it's appropriate. But I have to say that was a horrible prediction on my end. And look, for me, my argument, or in my defense, I was just trying to be positive and, back my team. I'm still a proud New South Welshman, still support New South Wales, still wearing the hat. And hopefully we can avoid a whitewash. But just before we go on, I'd like to give a call out to young Jackson, who listens to the podcast with his father. He's a passionate Doggies supporter. Keep your head up, Jackson. We're going through some tough times, but I guarantee you we're going to be a lot better in the few years, and you're going to celebrate some big Bulldogs grand finals win sooner rather than later. So keep your head up, keep listening to the podcast, and thanks for watching. Now, Dibbo, there's a lot that's happened over the last week in rugby league, not least of which is obviously the fallout from State of Origin Game 2, where the Blues got absolutely demolished. Yeah. And can I say, what a demoralising win by the Queenslanders, or demoralising loss for the Blues. Absolutely unbelievable. I guess, and look, not to pick on good old Bradley Fittler, but his lack of, I guess, strategy or game plan was sort of laid bare for everybody to see, throwing Cook into the centre position where he could have put Cam Murray. Cookie out there for 80 minutes. Our attack was stifled. Our defense was obviously not gelling with him there. It's just unbelievable that, that was allowed to happen.
I don't think there was any game breakers chosen in the New South Wales side. They were uninspiring, to say the least. I didn't agree with his team selections on a large scale. Hence why I went Queensland by, I think it was 40-12. You could see it coming, and I still think Queensland will do a whitewash, because just what we've seen from Fittler in the last 5 or so years on his team selections. I mean, I still think he's going to stick with a lot of the incumbents, and I still think the ones that he should be telling him, look, tapping on the shoulder, he'll stick by him, saying, he's given us long service. Well, the writing's been on the wall for a while now, basically, that some of these players should have been tapped on the shoulder a while ago, to be honest. I just think that some of them have just declined or just aged overnight.
Give me 3 that you think should have been tapped on the shoulder.
Tedesco's, that's it.
Yeah.
Don't even afford him a swan song. You want to afford him a swan song for another mediocre performance and risk a whitewash, even at club level. You could see it from last year as well. He's got the same style run, try to squeeze through the gap. He runs that dipping running style. He cops a lot of head highs, and I think it's due to his own running style. He's one of them's got to be tapped on the shoulder. Turbo probably shouldn't have been chosen. Just probably should have been given time off this year. Latrell, 2 games in a row, wasn't right. Pulled out at the 11th hour. That really disrupted the team. So Teddy's one of them that needs a tap on the shoulder. I think Frizz, his time's come up. That's the second one that needs a tap on the shoulder. I would have said Cookie, but he had no choice, basically. I think it was good. The only good outcome out of that, I thought, was he blooded Robson.
Yeah.
But just some of his forward selections. I mean, Uta Kamano, 14 minutes off the bench. What was the point of putting him in the squad?
Yeah, it's game 1 did the same thing with Nico Hines. Potentially, traumatize these players in big moments and getting them on there, not giving them the ability to actually perform.
I mean, you're right. And is he a motivator of a coach? Because if that was Wayne, after a bad performance, he would have You know,
it would have them up. Yeah, would have put a rocket up their ass and told them perform.
I'll give you an example. Justin Hodges on debut. If you remember, he threw the ball twice in the in goal, loose pass. Twice New South Wales scored. And, you think Justin would have been banished into
mediocrity.
Into oblivion, in the State of Origin oblivion. Look at him come back. I think he was part of 10 series wins, one of the Queensland greats.
Yeah.
That was all due to Wayne. Wayne brought him back to Brisbane and just got him motivated, got him going, and he never looked back.
How do you think Mitch Moses went?
Look, he tried his heart out. I can't really judge him because, in that first 20, I know they only scored one try and everyone's going to be really critical of him. Did him and Luai correlate, gel together? No. Unfortunately for Moses, the forwards laid absolutely no platform, no go forward for him. So I can't be really critical of him, to be honest. I know we only scored one try. Everyone can just... The only thing I can really criticise from that is I don't think him and Luai gelled. For some reason, the ball kept going to Cook a lot. He's out of position. The ball's going to him a lot. He got a lot of ball. He
did get a lot of ball. And one thing I realised about Mitchell Moses and Jerome Luai was they were running too close to each other. There was no proper shape. Yeah, and every time Mitch Moses would sort of get on the outside, Luai was very close to him. I don't know if that was poor game plan or just poor strategy or they didn't combine. But I felt like there was a lot of attacking opportunity that was stifled because Luai was running too close to Mitchell Moses. Look, I was a big supporter of Luai, and I thought, he needed to be chosen this season, especially outside Nathan Cleary.
There was no straightening of the attack.
There was just nothing.
Just too sideways. Queensland can just easily shift.
And they did easily shift. It was very predictable, and it was, I wanted to see some heart, some pride. Even if you were to lose, but they didn't lose. They got absolutely destroyed. New South Wales had nothing.
Our forwards run half-hearted in the line. Look, I know Payne Haas is the immovable object, but I've never seen him run into the line fiercely. I'm going to give him some criticism. People can blow up and whatnot, but just a throwback. Remember how the likes of Paul Harrigan, Paul Sirinen, Glenn Lazarus, Ian Roberts,
they need to go back and watch some of those
Luke
tapes.
Bailey, Jason Riles, Brent Cott, they used to absolutely fling themselves into the line. And you got Payne Haas. He's big, but, okay, you make your 8 metres, 10 metres, but you're not exactly scattering him. He's very hard to put away, like as in, deck or stop him making metres. But can you imagine if he ran with fire in the belly? He'd absolutely monster him with some of those runs. He's not running with fire in the belly.
Lindsay Collins came on for 30 minutes. It was man of the match. He absolutely...
Ruben Cotter's half their size. He runs with fire in the belly.
Ridiculous. It just seems like it's a systematic thing at the moment.
And the only reason I'm going after Payne Haas for criticism is because he's the leader of the pack.
He can do better.
He can absolutely carry the whole side, inspire the whole side. He's the most talented of the whole bunch. I expect more from him.
Yeah. I think our attack took a massive dip, not having Cook there to interchange with Reece Robson. Like, Reece Robson had to play 80 minutes at dummy half on debut in Suncorp to try and, level the series. There's just a lot expected from Reece Robson. And I still don't understand why Cam Murray wasn't put at centre. He's done it before. He's got good lateral defence, and he's not a slouch by any means.
I think he would have broken the line a few times.
To be honest, it's not even just breaking the line. If they were able to defend some of those easy tries that Reece Walsh put on, I think that the Blues maybe don't get tailed up as easily, maybe don't lose confidence. But look, ultimately, obviously, I'm not going to blame Cookie. I think Cook can hold his head up high because he tried his absolute heart out, played in a position I don't think he's ever played in before. Yeah. No, nothing against Cook. I think he did very well. I can't talk crap about Cook.
That's one thing I'll give Hook. He tries his heart out. I think Tedesco's lost his shape. I know he runs that roving role, but he seems to be getting away a lot more in the player's way.
He's attacking black hole. I think that's...
and then he runs into tries to run into a hole, but there's two players there, plus his teammate trying to hit that hole.
That's right.
Dude, what's going on?
But I think the other thing with Teddy is that, and we've known this for a few years, right, is that I feel like he doesn't like passing the ball.
They figured him out. Queensland just got used to him now.
They did figure him out. And the fact that he doesn't like passing the ball means that he's not as fast as he was, probably not as strong as he was. And Queensland's defense was on point. So there needed to be more from fullback. There needed to be more. Like, if you look at Reece Walsh, right? The speed that he provided, the running around, the targeting of Cook, like that's the other thing, right? Queensland was able to change their strategy and their game plan on the fly. They knew Cook was there. They knew he wasn't a good defender at centre, and they went for it. And that's what blows my mind is the Blues don't seem to be able to do that on the fly. It's like, okay, you have to go out and play this way, and if it doesn't come off, keep trying. Like they tried to go to Cook how many times?
You know what? New South Wales, they need those forwards that wear their heart on their sleeve. That's what they need.
I know.
They need those forwards that hate Queensland. That's what they need.
It's just, I really hope it's not. I just really hope it's not a whitewash because that'll be so embarrassing. But look, to be honest,
I think it's going to go that way.
But to be honest, I have to say, Billy Slater is a great coach. For him to be able to do what he's done, it's incredible. And he's only been coaching now. He's only coached 5 games.
He gets the best out of his players.
Yeah. So if he, the more he matures as a coach, the more he matures and learns his role as a coach, he's just going to get better and better. And that's scary for New South Wales. Because where does New South Wales go from here? If we get rid of Fittler, who comes in?
Is Cleary back next game?
No, he's out. He's out. Yeah, he's out still for another 6 weeks.
Oh, what? That long?
Yeah, he's out. He was out for 6 weeks from after.
So he'll miss Origin 3.
Yeah, he'll miss Origin 3.
But
he's not even our problem.
So who do you get to replace Fittler? Jeff Tuvey?
Well, he's got passion.
Because New South Wales don't want a club coach. So I know Hasler's off the market now.
He's coaching Gold Coast, yeah.
Jeff Tuvey was part of that dominant era, 90s New South Wales. He was halfback a few times he was hooker, so he knows what it takes. It doesn't take shit from anyone. Try to avoid using that word, but yeah.
I mean, Jeff Tuvey probably brings some heart to the role. I don't know if Jeff Tuvey's the answer. Honestly, I don't know at the moment where New South Wales go from here. Last year, it wasn't as bad of a loss as this year, but it was still a pretty bad loss. And then this year, it's looking like it might be a whitewash. And surely Fittler and his team can't be retained. Surely.
Oh, of course not.
Surely there needs to be a change.
They need a white knight. I mean, similar to what happened with Queensland, because I'll quote you Mal Meninga's words after New South Wales had gone 3 in a row. This is after 2005. He came out, uttered his disgrace to the papers, came out and said, New South Wales, they saw, they conquered. That's quoting Mark Anthony. They saw, they conquered. And Mal Meninga just took over from there, and I think he won 8 in a row.
Yep.
He was just embarrassed by this New South Wales dominance.
Well, I mean, to be honest, this one series, if you look at the 2020 series, that was probably the most embarrassing series New South Wales has ever lost. That and 1995. I think those 2 series are the worst series New South Wales have ever lost.
95, I'll let him go because what happened was the Super League players weren't allowed to play. New South Wales' Super League players were far more superior than Queensland Super League players. Hence why they weren't allowed to play. There was the contract saga then. But 2020 was, against the worst Queensland side ever.
Yeah, I mean, how we lost that was incredible. And I think that was enough to show that Fittler will easily be outsmarted by a better coach. And Wayne Bennett just had it all over Fittler in that series. And I think 2021 was more of an anomaly than anything. 2021, it was just Turbo and Latrell were just absolutely on fire and they won it for us. But you look at when it comes down to winning it under pressure, Blues don't have that. We don't have the drive, the heart, like individually, I think there's a lot of good players, but as a team, like it's a team of champions as opposed to a champion team. And I think Queensland is a champion team, right? You look at players that will go back and play for their club, don't play as well, but they play for Queensland, they play out of skin, like Taulagi, right? He saved on this series, he saved like 5 tries.
Oh, Nanai kills it as well.
Nanai, Lindsay Collins not playing particularly great for the Roosters, plays for Queensland, plays out of his skin. It's just, as a New South Welshman, I need to, I want to see more. I was, sitting there watching it with the boys, and I was just, I was embarrassed. Like, what the hell is going on? You would expect that you go up there and they laid the gauntlet, and we're gonna go up there, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. We did nothing, and that's what like boggles my mind. Like, Queensland are a great team, but when like the New South Wales team isn't that bad. Right, so there has to be a change. It's just I don't know where this change comes from. I don't know who as you say, the white knight for the Blues is. Like, do you bring in someone like a Paul Harrigan maybe?
I don't think he sees himself as a coach. You can probably bring him in as a motivator.
Yeah, you could definitely have him in and around the team, but like some people are saying, Andrew Johns. I think Andrew Johns is more of the same. I don't see him being great for the Blues team.
He's had his time. I think he's been around the side for a while now.
Yeah, I don't think he's.
He tries to coach him things that he used to do, but I mean, those things only he could do because only he was capable of. The way he's just, thought over the game.
People saying Matty John, but I don't know. I don't think he's been around coaching. I don't know. I mean, yeah. Again, it's one of those things where it's very disappointing. It's very, very disappointing. I'm hoping they come to New South Wales and we give them a bit of a shellacking just to restore some pride. But
that'd be nice.
It'll be nice. But honestly, I'm not going to make any. I will make a prediction the week before, but I'm not going to make any stupid predictions now because
honestly, I reckon Fella should blood a lot of players. There's nothing wrong with blooding a lot of debutants. I mean, it's for the future. If he thinks of giving some players a swan song, like for example, also Junior Paulo is always another one that I don't see bending the line. I don't think he can keep up with the pace of State of Origin. He's another one. I forgot to tap on the shoulder.
What about Josh Adokar?
I mean, there's no go for it. What do you want Josh to do? The ball was coming his way, but it was only stopping at Cook, and Cook was getting the ball already with the defense in his face. What do you want Josh to do?
Yeah, fair enough.
Everyone was being highly critical, but what do you want Josh to do? Yeah. Give him a centre that's going to put him away. He's going to use his extra pace, of course. Adokar's there to finish off a line movement. He's a finisher.
Yeah.
But
it's interesting. I sorry to cut you off, but it's interesting. I find Adokar this year's actually been better playing behind the Dogs than he has for New South Wales because he just hasn't had any opportunity. Yeah,
you can't blame him basically. So,
yeah. Look, I think Teddy's time is up. I think Teddy was, again, I'm not trying to single anyone out.
He's had a great run.
Had a great run. 4-5 years was the best player. But now I think it's time for him, if he doesn't get moved on, to say, I'm done, I think, to be honest. But
there's a few knocking on the door, like Dylan Edwards for one, Josh Drinkwater, or Scott Drinkwater.
Isn't Scott Drinkwater a Queenslander?
No, he's a New South Welshman. He's from the Central Coast.
No, I think he could do well.
Yeah. And he's a ball player as well.
He's a ball player.
For North Queensland. He's been doing it for a number of years. He was in Melbourne's system before.
It was very impressive on the weekend.
He didn't want to lose him, but he had too many. He had Munster, he had him.
He had Pappenhausen.
Yeah, he's just got a few. Nico Hines.
Pappenhausen would be a great fullback for the Blues. He would add so much to the Blues attack.
Nico Hines deserves a run too. He deserves to. If he's not going to come in at halfback, put him in at 5'8".
Even at fullback, he would have been.
He would. He's capable.
He'll be a killer at fullback. So that game was quite very, very disappointing. Now, a little bit more happening in the rugby league world.
Very eventful last week.
Yeah,
even today.
But I guess the other thing that's been and now I want to talk a little bit more about the Doggies.
Go the Doggies.
Go the mighty Bulldogs. And just to point out, generally we do record our podcasts on Tuesdays after Team List Tuesday comes out. But this week there will be Eid al-Adha for those who celebrate, and so we're filming it on a Monday night because tomorrow and the rest of the week we're quite busy for those who celebrate Eid.
I get to train the Barilla under 8s tomorrow.
Lucky you. Free, yeah. So we don't have, we're not exactly going to go through the team list, but I don't think it's going to be very much change. I think our Raymond Faitala Mariner will probably be back. He played for New South Wales Cup on the weekend. He had a good run. But it's interesting, Phil Good's been
what's he been posting?
Having some back and forth with
fans?
With the fans on Twitter, and I just want to discuss a couple of things that I thought were quite interesting.
I think you Canterbury fans are very blessed because he must be the only director of football that interacts with the fans on a regular basis, on a daily basis, if anything. You don't get any other club's director of football or any sense of management that, basically speaks to the fans and gives them some insight. You're very blessed.
I was actually thinking about that earlier today, just sort of mentally preparing, and I agree with you. I think that it's very lucky for us fans to be able to ask questions and him responding to the fans, and it gives fans insight into the club and how they're traveling. So first, he gave his input on the Sharks game.
Yep.
Right. So. So this is what Phil Good said about the Sharks game when he was asked what he thought of the Sharks game. And he said the Sharks game was always going to be difficult. It was a perfect storm. We had players unavailable, others not quite ready or underdone. We were up against a full-strength top 4 team who played really well. And that's life in the NRL these days.
Good response.
He said as a team, it was poor and a real struggle, but it's a bad day, not a bad life. Saying better days ahead.
He's spot on. Some will see that. Unfortunately, you still get a few that won't see it that way, but that's a good response.
I think it is a good response, and it was sort of what we were talking about last week after we sort of were speaking about the loss to the Sharks. I do think that the Bulldogs will come out a lot better this week, better prepared, more well rested.
Who do they have this week?
Knights
at home
and Accor.
It's at home. You might pinch a win there.
Look,
Newcastle lost to Penrith, missing I think 8 regulars. If you saw Christian Ross comes into the
I saw that.
the bellow, Newcastle lost to Penrith. They're missing 8 players.
That was quite funny.
Everyone's just been giving Newcastle stick ever since.
They asked Phil what he thought we're doing better this year compared to last year, and he thinks that we moved the ball a lot more than last year. Mick Potter's still there, still doing a great role as assistant coach.
Yep.
And, he's saying there is no coaching problem. He's saying that the Bulldogs know what the issues are and they're working to resolve them, right? So in terms of things...
He's got a plan. He's got a plan. He's going to stick to his guns. I mean, whether he's going to go along for the ride or not, he's not made that his concern. He knows he's got to action his plan. And when it comes to fruition, he'll have the last laugh.
It's going to be a long-term plan.
Yeah, it's just trying to convince or keep everyone on that bandwagon.
It's about keeping laser focus on, I guess, the goals, because someone asked him, short-term pain for long-term gain, but the fans are impatient. And, his response is, look, no one likes being in a losing situation.
Oh, hands down, yeah.
It's been a very difficult period. The Bulldogs have tried quick fix solutions and it hasn't hit the mark. And it never really does. We are in a long-term program here that hopefully provides long-term sustainable success. That's the plan. The football board have been very supportive of what we're doing. They're heavily invested in the program. It's a difficult time. And it's a difficult time to start to try to renovate a club's roster, but we have to start somewhere, and we've started, is what he's saying.
Good.
Which I think, to be honest, as a fan, it sort of says to me, look, it's not going to be easy, but you stick it out and you reap the rewards. And to be honest, I know it looks bleak this year, but I don't think it's going to take as long as fans think. I really don't.
I still think you will have a good last 6 weeks of the season looking at the draw. I'll still stick by that. I know next 4 or 5 weeks is tough. But I think last 6 weeks, you guys will finish with a flurry.
Look, if we can be competitive, honestly, if we can show progress and be competitive, that's all I really want, right? We might be able to jag a win or two,
definitely
surprisingly.
not out. Yeah, definitely not out.
Right, it just means we need to be on the ball and hopefully just be competitive. That's really what it is. Phil Good's also saying all the gun players that we've signed, everyone that's come on board, everyone that's coming on board, they're there to help turn the ship around. No one's bailing. No one's even thinking about the situation we're in. Everybody knows Seraldo has a plan, Gould has a plan, and it's being worked towards. So everybody's fully committed. It's great. It's great, and I think we'll see a big turnaround against the Knights. Can we win? I think it's probably the most winnable game of the next 5 or 6 that we have coming up, them and the Dolphins. He also mentioned something that I thought was really interesting. He said that someone asked him about Dean Pay. He said, we have the same problems now that we had when Dean Pay was coach. And he said that while he wasn't there, the problem started way before Dean, and that Dean wasn't a bad coach.
No, definitely not.
I think Dean Pay was a great coach.
Didn't have the resources.
Didn't have the support. Didn't have the full buy-in, I think.
And he had to do with a roster that was heavily back-ended contracts, I believe.
Very heavily back-ended, yeah. So I'm glad he's pointed that out, because I don't think in any way Dean Pay was the problem. Now, they asked him, they said, okay, so the Dolphins haven't been in the competition even a whole season, and they're a better team than us. What's the situation here? He said, while the Dolphins have done amazingly well, they started with a vacant block of land, whereas the Bulldogs need to knock down and rebuild, which I think is a great analogy to sort of help us understand what is happening. He's right, because we have a lot of issues where it comes to balancing salary caps, balancing team, right? Do we overpay? Because like, for example, Luke Thompson hasn't played a game and he's on $850,000, $900,000.
I think he's gone. I mean, if he's going to stay, it's going to be like severely reduced salary.
Yeah, I think so too. And he's getting big offers from the UK, so
I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up at St George either. And they need a few middle forwards. I'm not saying that's a bad thing for you guys, but look, needs to start somewhere else. I think.
I think we'll get onto the Dragons in a minute, but when he did play, he did show some signs of strength, but it's just unfortunate. He's just been too injury prone.
It wasn't. Look, he wasn't spectacular for you guys, so it's not a bad thing that if he goes. He's getting money freed up.
I don't think it's a bad thing either.
There's about 3 or 4 quality forwards on the market. It gives you guys extra leverage to sign 1 or 2 of them.
Yeah, agree.
You just need those extra 1 or 2 seasoned forwards in your forward pack.
No, I agree. Now, in terms of one more thing that I think is really exciting, and this is the type of, I think, development I like seeing from the Bulldogs. Viliami Kikau is recently in Fiji for a coaching clinic, and he started an NRL development arm over there in Fiji for Canterbury. Yeah,
that's so good, man. Their players they're so talented. These Fijians.
They're very, very talented, and they've signed two young guys to the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs development contract, hoping to build them up into the NRL.
Wow, made out of granite, those guys.
Absolutely, and look, I think this is what excites me about the future. This is what I like to see. Okay, we're not winning yet, but when you see just the amount of development that's going into the juniors, I think it's great, right? I think it's great. Also, throughout the week, it was confirmed that Jake Averillo will be leaving to the Dolphins, which I think was quite disappointing. I was very upset with the fact that Jake Averillo is leaving. And as a Bulldogs fan, he's a junior. He was showing some speed. He was showing a lot of potential. He was one of our only sparks this year. But I also want to level set here a little bit, right? What Phil Good was saying was that he got a really, really good deal from the Dolphins and the Bulldogs weren't able to match that good deal.
Okay.
Right? And he was saying for the future prospects, to ensure that our salary cap is balanced, to ensure that we are using the money wisely, it was best to let Jake Averillo go.
And I can guarantee Phil's got in the back of his head that he will get him back someday, provided, obviously.
Look, he's a Bulldogs junior. You'd always love to have him. I wish him all the best at the Dolphins. I'm sure he's going to kill it. He under Wayne Bennett.
Oh yeah.
He'll and Christian Wolf. I think he's gonna be one of the best centers in the game. I wouldn't even be surprised if he ends up playing for the Blues. I'll say it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not beyond him. He can also double up as a utility.
He can definitely double up as a utility.
Jeez, they're gonna have a strong centre pairing next year. Him and Herbie Farnsworth.
I reckon it's gonna be one of the best in the game. It's incredible. Him and Herbie Farnsworth will be, and a lot of speed, a lot of ability. It's it's great. It's great. It's great for Jake Averillo, and I wish him all the best. Honestly, he's one of the guys that I hope goes on to flourish it because he has a lot of potential.
Oh yeah, definitely.
In terms of the Knights, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the Bulldogs are going to come out raring to go and they're going to win, I'm going to say, by 6 points.
Oh, yeah. I mean, a win's a win.
What do you reckon?
Yeah, I want to back Canterbury in this one, by 8.
Yeah.
So I want to back Canterbury. I mean, everyone will point, Newcastle will get them, Ponga will get them, but I reckon Canterbury can jag the wing at home.
I think
they'll be up for it. They want to be making up for that Cronulla performance
and the Parramatta performance before that.
Yeah. So, just on Kikau, he's back in 4 weeks.
Maybe sooner than that.
Oh, that's good news.
Yeah. Well, this is round 18. They're saying round 20 he should be back, 19 or 20. So hopefully in a couple of weeks we'll see Viliami back on the bench, just playing a little bit. I mean, that adds a lot of experience to our pack. With Raymond Faitala back, with Kikau back, we can start to build again, right? And I think that's what we're lacking, that experience. And hopefully, Max King's had a rest. He's sort of back in some sort of good shape. Chris Patolo gets a bit more time. Franklin Pele. Look, I don't think we're too far off the mark. We have had some bad games, but as we said last week, it was a culmination of so many things happening that sort of got doggies to where they are now. moving on a little bit from the Doggies very quickly. So a couple of things have happened. Out of absolutely nowhere, the Dolphins announced that the Titans announced that they've signed Desi Hasler from 2024.
Ooh, the villain's back. Canterbury fans are boiling.
No. To be honest,
some Canterbury fans were there's blood started boiling, so there's going to be a bit of rivalry, I reckon.
There will be a little bit of rivalry, but I think what I think is very interesting about this is nothing in rugby league is ever kept a secret, and the Titans managed to keep this a secret.
Yeah,
and poor Justin Holbrook had no idea. He was called into a meeting at 9:30 in the morning and is told, "You're finished."
Yeah, that was
so strange, man.
I was actually impressed, yeah.
The fact that they were able to keep it. In fact, even Mal Meninga, who works with the Titans, didn't know. And he's questioning now his future at the club because he didn't know and he wasn't consulted, which is, I think, it's very interesting how the Titans were able to pull off that coup, to be honest. And look, kudos to them. I think you've got to go about your business in a way that best suits your club. And if Des Hasler can get the results, then I think good on them.
I'll give credit to the new owners as well. They obviously, shrouded in secrecy, managed to get Hasler under the nose of everyone. And on top of that, by 2030, they want to win 2 premierships. So they're very ambitious. They're going at great lengths. It's straight. I mean, it's laid in bare. Hasler comes in. Ben Hunt's linked to him. So they've been making some serious moves in the off-season.
And you know what?
During the season, rather.
Their core team's not that bad. Actually, don't think
they've got a good forward pack.
They've got a great forward pack.
Just not firing as much as
if you look at, they've got Preston, Jaden Campbell. They've got AJ Brimson. They've got Tanner Boyd. They've got Tino Fa'asua Mala'awi, Mo Foraweka. They don't have a bad team.
I reckon it was justified to move him on. I mean, they actually got some very good backs. They got a strong forward pack. I just think they're misfiring. I know they're sitting 9th, but for the talent they got, you can kind of say, yeah, they were sitting 9th, but look at the talent they got. They are misfiring. If you look at Holbrook's win rate's about 38%.
Yeah, spot on, right? And that's
He's had like 80-odd games.
Yeah, and he said, it came completely out of the blue. Well, to be honest, if he wasn't aware that it's starting to get... He's starting to get a little bit long in the tooth at the Titans. Maybe that's sort of a little bit his fault.
Too comfortable. He's had 4 seasons.
I think he got a little bit too comfortable. And someone like Des Hasler will go up there and make some changes and be the mad scientist that he can be. And look, I find it very interesting that at the same time that they were trying to sign Des Hasler, the rumblings are about Ben Hunt leaving and wanting to go back to Queensland started to pop up.
Yeah,
and that he's going to sign with the Dolphins. I think if you look at
Titans, but yeah.
So why do I keep saying Dolphins?
I'll tell you why, because Gold Coast originally were meant to be come back into the NRL as the Dolphins, and then Redcliffe sued them.
Yeah. Titans. I got to keep saying Titans, but so for the Titans to be making these moves, I think it's not a bad move, which is quite interesting. But it's also a good segue to talk about Ben Hunt.
Yeah,
Today, the Dragons have denied a release request for Ben Hunt.
It's just weird. I was looking at their press release. I mean, and he aired his grievances and all that, and they got all the players and staff. So you just read the press. They're not releasing from his 2.5 final 2.5 years of the contract. So what, is he going to see out the 2.5 years? Because he spoke afterwards, or are they just going to give him to the end of the year and try to work out, who can we get compensated back from the other team he goes to, or who can we get to replace him with the money freed up before they agree to release him, which is probably the right thing to do, because imagine letting him go with no compensation, no player replacement in the middle of the year. You're literally opening yourself up for a shellacking for the last 10 rounds of the year and a wooden spoon, which they're almost there anyway.
I think, to be honest, I don't think it's about this year or the wooden spoon. To be honest, what I think it's about is the Dragons are trying to play hardball. Right? Because if he goes to the Broncos this year, for example, the Broncos aren't going to compensate them for only having him 3 or 4 months.
Exactly.
It's not really worth it for the Broncos.
Hit the mark.
But if they can hold on to him for this year and then he signs, say, 24, 25, let's say with the Titans, right? They would say to the Titans, okay, you can have him, but we want Mo Foraweka and AJ Brimson.
Tino Fa'asua.
Whatever, right? Whoever it is, yeah?
Tino.
He'll be great, but they're not going to let their captain walk, right? Right, they're not going to let Tino go, but there are a great number of players that I think the Dragons could do with from the Titans. Yeah, and so I think the Dragons are playing hardball because they know that they have all the leverage, and for them, if they play the hardball, they know they can get either monetary or player compensation by letting Ben Hunt go. If you let him go now, you lose all leverage, you lose all control.
Yeah, you couldn't have said it better. You hit the mark.
And to be honest, I think the Dragons should stand their ground. I don't think they should let him go without any compensation.
I just thought, look, let him go, but obviously don't rush themselves into it. Obviously, work out your options. What's the best? Get money. Either do a player swap with them. Obviously, not like of what you need, basically.
Of value, yeah.
If not, give him end of the year, go around, shop around for other players off contract with that money freed up. Yeah, make sure you got them locked up, and then tell him you can go.
Agreed, 100%. And the thing is, Shane Flanagan's a shrewd operator. He's not just going to let him walk without getting some sort of a leg up to start next year. Because Ben Hunt with the Dragons and new coach and Shane Flanagan, I think we'll do a lot better this year. Next year.
I mean, you're spot on, but just reading that press release, it's just confused me. Yeah. Exactly what you said, and then also has Flano. Is he going to sit out? Is he going to now stick with the Dragons the next 2.5 years? Because it made it look like Flano sat him down and turned his mind around. I don't know. We'll find out anyway.
Yeah, look, it'll all come unraveling, but yeah, I think that's what they're trying to do.
I don't know. I just didn't see it as a bad thing. He doesn't want to be there. I thought, you know what? Dragons can go out and recruit maybe one half. There's a few good young halves coming through who I think deserve to be a halfback at another NRL club. And I think they need 2 middle forwards. Yeah. They've released Josh Kerr plus the money they can get from Ben Hunt. I think it will stabilise the side. 2 middle forwards plus a half.
No, agreed. And don't forget, you guys have Jaden Sullivan, you have Talatau Amon, or if you guys want to buy another 5'8", they're looking to get rid of Toby Sexton.
I definitely think they need another half to put pressure on them to, whether it's Toby Sexton, whether it's Braden Trindle from Cronulla, yes, Dan Nichols, Southo Dan, or whether it's Sam Walker from the Roosters. And look, Braden Trindle, too good to be a reserve grade halfback. Agreed. Sam Walker, I mean, he's given us 2.5 years of showing us what he can do. Unfortunately, he's out of favour at the Roosters.
But he's only 20 years old.
Whether that's justified or not, I don't know. But he's done well the last 2 years. And then you got Toby Sexton, who's played finals football, and he's he played finals.
He's a very capable half.
I mean, you know what? If he's not going to be your starting half, at least he's going to put pressure on Amon. Yeah. I think Amon needs to step up. Sullivan performs. It's Amon that needs to step it up.
Well, if you look at what the Titans did, they got rid of Jamal Fogarty because they thought Toby Sexton was the future at 7.
Hasn't worked in their favour.
Well, Toby Sexton is still very young. I still think he has a lot of potential.
He's been superseded by Tanner Boyd. I think Sexton's more capable than Tanner Boyd, but Tanner Boyd has been having a dig. So
Tanner Boyd's great. Look, I think if you have Ben Hunt at 7, Tanner Boyd at 6, or if you have Ben Hunt at 7 and good old Foreign there at 6, what a half 5'8" combo, right? Definitely. For the next couple of years. So look, it's looking quite fresh for the Titans.
It's looking good.
And look, I'd love to see the Titans win a competition. They haven't won one yet. I want the Warriors and the Titans and the Dolphins. Anyone hasn't won a competition. I want to see them win.
I think we need the Warriors and the Titans first because they've been the bridesmaids for too long.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, mate, the Warriors. I'm all in for the Warriors. I mean, it's obvious the Bulldogs aren't going to win it this year. I mean, and they had a great win on the weekend as well. They.
Look, a new coach always does wonders for you. I mean, Ryan Carr for St. George came in and I think he's won 2 in 4 games, or he won 2 in 3 at one stage.
But the thing about the Warriors is that they're playing as a team. Their forwards are performing. Their backs are killing it. Dallin Wateni, Zelezniak, and
they're playing with belief and as a team. You're right.
And Montoya absolutely killing it.
Montoya's proof. Look, player might not thrive at his junior club.
Agreed.
But if he goes to another club, different environment. Less pressure on him, they'll thrive.
Yeah, and
Montoya's
he's killing it.
He's he's irresistible force on the field every game. He's giving you 300 solid meters almost of running, and he's scoring. And Dallin Watene-Zelezniak, I mean, he's gone from strength to strength.
He's scoring freak. He scored 4 tries on the weekend.
Oh, he scored 4?
Yeah.
So he's 14 in 7 games since he's come back?
Something like that, yeah.
That's freakish.
Yeah, it's and look, I'm so glad that the Warriors are doing well. And look, you, a lot of the talk now from even diehard rugby fans is that in New Zealand,
they want a second team.
It's the rugby league. It's the New Zealand Warriors that are starting to make all the noise.
Hardly anyone, and I'm an avid follower of the Super Rugby, but a lot of people in Australia just hardly even knew the Super Rugby final was on.
Yeah.
Even in New Zealand, the ratings were down.
Yeah, and rugby league ratings are up in New Zealand, which is, the NRL needs to do something with that. They need to capture that hype at the moment the New Zealand Warriors are building and use it. Have Magic Round there next year or something like that.
I totally agree. There or Perth, I prefer. I don't mind. There or Perth. Move it away from Brisbane.
I would go. Honestly, I'll book my tickets tomorrow.
I would love to go to New Zealand. That would be
amazing.
Wonders.
What a weekend that would be.
And I reckon they should let the Warriors enjoy momentum for the next 3 to 5 years before they think of introducing a second New Zealand side. Let the Warriors,
Perth. Whoever's watching out here that makes any decisions, go straight to Perth.
You know what? I read something in the paper today. Newtown Jets want to be, and that's great.
I love it. They
got an established Sydney fan base. It will help them wonders because if you look, I know I'm going to change codes, but the Sydney Swans, they originally came from South Melbourne.
That's right.
So they had a established Melburnian fan base, and it's worked wonders. Yeah. Same thing with the Brisbane Lions.
Perth Jets, I love it.
Yeah, it's got a good ring to it.
Perth Jets sounds amazing.
I thought Perth Sharks sounded amazing. Southo Dan, but you know what? I don't mind. Perth Jets is good.
But the other thing that Newtown Jets will do for Perth is it will give them a feeder club from New South Wales.
And it will give them already about 5,000 to 10,000 minimum memberships from Sydney.
More,
I'm just saying minimum.
Yeah.
They'll probably get more, you're right. And they play games, they'll probably play a few games, maybe 2 games at Henson Park.
That would be incredible.
Of course, I've played at that ground.
That would be so amazing.
You get goosebumps.
Isn't it a small park though?
No, it's massive.
How many can hold? 20,000, 30,000?
It's a huge oval. It's got the one grand. Look, they need to rebuild the grandstand, but look, you don't even need a grandstand there. It's an oval. It's a big oval. You'll get 20,000 easily. You can fit more.
That would be such an incredible.
Parking's going to be a real bitch. Sorry, I said the word, but parking's going to be a problem there. But look, if you go there, you'll see Johnny Jet or Johnny Trad. He'll go on his tricycle and he'll just ride around the whole oval. Johnny Jet, famous Johnny Jet.
What you're referring to is the Newtown Jets have actually made contact with the Perth government because the Perth government has also been doing a feasibility study on actually backing an NRL
I fully
Perth
support
team.
it. I would love that.
Honestly, if Perth come in...
The blue bags. Keep the colours. Keep the blue bag
It'll
colour.
be amazing. And Perth have traditionally been blue anyway. So the Western Force, for example...
They weren't blue.
Well, the Western Force is blue, for example.
The Perth Reds originally.
That's right.
They wanted to revive the Perth Reds, but you know what? Perth Jets
amazing.
Kept the blue bags, kept the same song.
That'd be amazing. It'll be so good. Honestly, it'll be so good to see that.
Or call them the Perth Newtown Jets if you want to put like Manny
whatever, man.
Perth
Whatever,
Newtown.
whatever.
I like the ring to it. Perth Newtown, love the ring.
It's just the idea of Newtown Jets going in together on a bid, I think not only strengthens the bid, but it excites everyone.
That's such a feel-good story.
It gives a connect because, as I was saying, the Perth government is doing a feasibility study because they know how much revenue it could drive for the state if they had a team there.
And they got guaranteed income coming from the Sydney fan base.
Exactly. It makes a lot of sense. And honestly, I really, really hope that's what happens. That's my hope. I think that, if we have a team in Perth, we can say we truly are a national rugby league.
You know what? I don't think Perth would even need to take their home games from there to Henson Park. I reckon they should try to coerce maybe 2 or 3 Sydney sides to have their home game at Henson Park.
Oh, but I mean, even if they were to have 1 or 2 a year at Henson Park, just 1 or 2 games a year.
2 would be good.
That'd be incredible.
Like Belmore Sports Ground.
Yeah, absolutely.
Although I'd like to see more games there.
Yeah, look, I would too, but Perth, Optus Stadium in Perth is incredible.
Oh, yeah, world class.
It is one of the best stadiums in Australia.
Amazing.
Watching people that have been there have said that it's just unbelievable to watch. Yeah. So, there's already a stadium there that is perfect for rugby league. They've got, Henson Park, if they want to 1 or 2 games in the future. I just think it makes a lot of sense, and he's hoping it works. Also today it was confirmed that Luke Brooks has signed with Manly for 4 years.
Yeah.
Josh Schuster's...
That came out of left field, eh?
It did. There was a rumblings that the Bulldogs may have signed Luke Brooks.
I mean, it's just weird that Daly Cherry Evans, someone of his calibre, playing with Luke Brooks. I think Brooks will have to play 5'8", but you got Schuster. I think he wanted to go to Tigers. They turned him down. You got Cooper Johns there. You got young Jake Arthur, who I think probably end up back at Parramatta in the off-season anyway, or somewhere else. It's just a strange one. I mean, Anthony Seibold,
I think what Anthony Seibold's trying to do is
depth,
build a team that he wants.
Right
now,
hopefully it's a soft one. Come on, Manly, get that wooden spoon.
I'll tell you what it is. I think Luke Brooks will flourish.
Oh, I hope he does.
Changing teams.
I mean, over a decade of playing first grade, 200 plus games. the weight of the world on his shoulders. I mean, they keep bringing it up to him. He's never played finals footy. It'd be nice to see him break the duck.
Yeah, and you know what?
And go far and, just get,
Do you know why I think it'll be so good, right? Because if he's there alongside DCE, he doesn't need to control the game. Let DCE do the controlling. Let him run. Let him do his like magic.
If anything, he'll take the burden off DCE. DC's got to do it all himself, so DC gets to sit back a little.
It's true.
And Brooks can chime in.
But I mean, DC can control the game without needing to do all the miracle plays and let Brooks run wild. I think it could be a recipe for success. Obviously,
he's got an established passing and kicking game.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like Josh Schuster might move to lock or be on the outer because he's not a 5'8".
He's very talented.
Yeah. He's very.
Look, I think he needs a new club.
His defenses, like on the weekend, some of those defensive efforts from him were.
I wouldn't be surprised if Des takes him up to the Gold Coast.
I think Des will get the best out of him. But where do you put him? Lock.
Oh yeah, I don't think he likes defending or playing in the forwards. He's got to abandon.
But he's a big boy. He's
got to abandon that and go to the forwards. I think
that's what needs to happen. They've signed also Tommy Talau. The Manly Sea Eagles. They signed Tommy Talau.
Jackson Paulo from the Roosters.
Jackson Paulo, from the Roosters, who I think, to be honest...
I think he can get a fair go.
Neither the Rabbits nor the Roosters, I think, gave him a fair go. And I think... I
don't know what's wrong with Robbo. She's really rocked the noses off some of those players in the wrong way.
Yeah, it's unfair.
I don't think they've been bad at all.
I agree with you. I think that he's trying to find scapegoats for the performances, and I don't think...
But it's just at the wrong time. Like
it's neither Sam Walker nor Jackson Bowler were to blame,
and he hasn't got a look in since.
Yeah, which boggles my mind because the first 5-6 weeks he actually played really well, and people were like, "Oh, the Rabbitohs have lost a good one," and now he was
looking spectacular.
I don't know.
And
I don't know. The Roosters are a bit of a shambles, which is good to see.
I'm not going to disagree with you there. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that brings us to the end of the podcast. Anything you want to talk about?
You know what? The last 10 rounds is hotting up. The finals. Parramatta's coming good. North Queensland's coming good.
Wow, what a win on the weekend.
Like some sides are still unpredictable. The wooden spoon race is hotting up. I think those bottom three sides will see immense improvement. That might put pressure on Newcastle.
They might.
O'Brien's under pressure as well. Him from Newcastle. He might lose his job as well.
Look, let me tell you something. I think Newcastle needs to get rid of O'Brien. I will never forget one press conference last year where when they were losing, he said, "Do you know who I am? Do you know what I've accomplished?" Like as though he's some hot shot coach.
Who was he? Just Bellamy's assistant or Robbo's assistant?
Yeah, Bellamy's underling.
So he was the guy that holds the bags.
He's he's a bloody water boy for Bellamy.
So he was just holding the bags for him.
Yeah, and to be honest, I think that
no disrespect, sorry.
I think
take it back.
Newcastle's got a great team, and the fact that they're not achieving is quite telling, I think, of the coaching situation at Newcastle. They do need a new coach. They need a coach that can get the best out of them, that can mentor a lot of the young players.
But a lot of those, like, some of those players want to leave, and then they want to put the fire so up. Oh, we're not signing Bradman Best. Oh, Saifedi's off contract. Like, you hear these rumblings throughout the year. Remember they didn't want like half a dozen players. Even Frizzell was up for sale.
Yeah, but I mean, this is the coach and his team and their management, right? Something needs to change there.
But isn't he the one that signed them all to begin with?
Yeah, I don't know. I just think I
think Bradman Best needs to leave Newcastle as well to thrive. I think same way that I think Lomax needs to leave St. George to thrive.
I don't think Bradman Best has been that poor.
He hasn't. I just think he's not reaching near his potential. Yeah, same way I look at Lomax. He's got ability, whether he's just stagnating at St. George. They're first grade material. I think they'll thrive elsewhere in a different environment.
I actually think Lomax will thrive under Flanagan. Lomax reminds me a lot of Jack Bird.
I actually called for him to be, like what's to go with him today. I wouldn't mind seeing him go, but a lot of people tell him, give him a year under Flano. So, yeah, look, I'm happy to see him a year, but they've got to make
If you remember how much Flano was able to bring out of Jack Bird in 2016 when they won the grand final.
Well, he's back now.
Yeah, so I think, I do think that Flano can get the best out of Lomax. And look, he's still in it there or thereabouts. But yeah, Flano's got a big job, but I would wait before you get rid of someone like Lomax. That's before you call to get rid of someone like Lomax. And for God's sake, Peter Doust, answer Matt Cooper's bloody calls, mate.
Oh yeah, go the Cooper. I love Matt. I don't know the whole backstory behind that, but Yeah, look, Cooper hit the mark there. The edge defense was horrendous.
Yeah, I think
it's not the first time it's been like that. Shindy's called them out on it.
They let in, I think, 6 or 7 tries on the wings on the weekend.
Horrendous.
2 to Montoya, 4 to Selesniak. You know,
I think hopefully Flana makes tough calls and does cast out half a dozen backs that are on the fringes. We absolutely lack speed. Anyway, no one cares about St. George, as you normally say. So are we going to end the podcast?
I think we're done for today. Thank you again.
Just look, everyone, please do subscribe to our channels. That's your line.
Oh, yeah. Make sure you like and subscribe. Leave comments down below. If there's anything that you like, don't like, any comments, any requests, please be sure to like and subscribe. Follow us on all our socials.
I'll be at Shark Park on Thursday, and I might be at Aqua on whenever they're playing.
All right, let's do it. Maybe we'll do some Bulldogs
Possibly,
fan TV.
yeah.
Let's get onto it. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in once again. We will have guests coming up. We'll be having Paul Angmack on in the next few weeks and some other very, very big guests to fill that void. Thank you so much once again, and we wish you a great week. Hope your team does well, whoever you support, and Eid Mubarak to those celebrating.
Adios.